The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
BronxNet. Your voice, your views, your vision.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Open Friday, your favorite talk show bringing the best of the Bronx, New York, and the world straight to you. I'm Rina Valentin, your host, Y Café con Leche, every Friday. Let's take a look at today's show. First up, it's our Open Weekend Preview with some fun dance and musical events for you to enjoy. Followed by Olga Luz Tirado, Executive Director of the Bronx Tourism Council, with the latest inside details of Bronx Week 2014. Then Christopher Dell joins us to speak about the misconceptions of ethnic entrepreneurship. And after that, author Raquel Cepeda joins us to talk about her most recent book, Bird of Paradise, How I Became Latina. Followed by our exclusive weekly sports roundup with Bobby C. And we close the show dancing with the Bronx Rain Dancers. So sit down y prepárate. All this y mucho más is coming your way because now we are officially open. Hello and welcome to Open. I'm Rina Valentin, your host, Y Café con Leche, for the next hour, reminding you to get social with us online. Tweet us at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at Open BronxNet Television. And of course, don't forget to follow me on Twitter and FB at Rina Valentin. Look forward to hearing from you. And well, it's now time to jump into all things to do with the Open Weekend Preview. First up, Larissa Velez Jackson, SPED The Bronx, that's Star Particle Experimental Dance, is a mobile dance performing with the exciting outdoor stops here in the Bronx. You can join in at any stop on the route or meet up at Casita Maria at 5 p.m. for the indoor dance finale. This year's SPED, the Bronx Star Point, will be at the Bronx Academy of Arts and Dance, and that's beginning at 2 p.m. And then they'll make stops at various locations, such as the Point, as well as the Bronx Music Heritage Center, and that's just to name a few. And that's happening today, Friday, May 2nd at 2 p.m., ending with a wonderful dance performance once again at 5 p.m. at Casita Maria, which is located at 928 Simpson Street here in the Bronx. And for more information on the event, you can visit casitamaria.org. Our second preview, Around the Block from El Museo. Explore El Barrio with El Museo. Join this wonderful tour of the neighborhood and check out its vibrant public art, beautiful community with rich cultural organizations and the diversity of El Barrio. The tour will make stops at Museo del Barrio, La Casa Azul, Graffiti Hall of Fame, and much more. Beginning at El Museo del Barrio this Saturday, May 3rd, from 12 noon to 1:30 p.m. And the Museo del Barrio is located at 1230 Fifth Avenue here in New York. And for more information, you can visit elmuseo.org. And finally, New York Children's Theater Festival is back. This 3-day festival will be full of puppet shows, music, animation, face painting, bilingual workshops, and other fun activities for children between the ages of 5 and 12. That would include me. This 3-day experience will begin today, Friday, May 2nd, from 5:30 p.m. to 6:45, continuing tomorrow, Saturday, May 3rd, from 11 a.m. to 3:15 p.m., and finalizing on Sunday, May 4th, from 2 to 3:15 p.m. And that's taking place at Marjorie S. Dean Little Theater, located at 10 West 64th Street at Central Park West in New York. That's Manhattan. And for more information, visit NewYorkChildren'sTheaterFestival.org. And, well, that's what we have for you to do on this lovely weekend. So make sure you get out and enjoy. And so the celebration of the best of our borough, Bronx, is, well, Bronx Week is back. That's right. And this year's promises to be a bigger than ever event as we join together to celebrate as one Bronx, as well as the Bronx Centennial. So here with us is Olga Luz Tirado, Executive Director of the Bronx Tourism Council, with more of what will be happening during this exciting week. Are you ready?
We're tired. My staff and I, we have been working really hard to bring some really great things, put some great things together for the Bronx.
I know, pero tú no te puedes cansar.
I know. I mean,
it just started.
We just go, and it's wonderful. We've really got a lot of great things going on for Bronx Week. As you know, Bronx Week is an annual event.
It's a really exciting time here in the Bronx.
It is.
It's actually going to begin next week, right?
It begins next week, and what it is that there are some events that are done by the Office of the Bronx Borough President, Ruben Diaz Jr., but then the great thing about Bronx Week is that the community comes together and other institutions, they all put together these wonderful events to celebrate the best of the Bronx. And it's just so exciting.
It is exciting. And so next Monday, there's going to be an actual press conference to announce everything that's going on. Because once again, it's Bronx Week, which means there's a lot of festivities going on, a lot of festivals, also entertainers. You want to share some of that?
Well, we've got Bronx Week officially sort of launches on Monday with the press conference, and what we do on that day is we announce who our inductees to the Bronx Walk of Fame are going to be.
Oh my goodness, we can't even.
We can't.
I've been sworn to secrecy. You guys who's going to be inducted.
Oh, I can't even tell you what would happen to me if I told you.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
This is better than the CIA, right?
Really?
Here. Like, whoa, we all have to be very quiet.
Super sealed.
Super sealed.
How exciting. It sounds exciting.
It is exciting. So we've got, I can tell you we have 5 inductees this year.
Okay.
So that I can tell you, but I can't tell you who they are yet. So we'll know by Monday. Go on to ilovethebronx.com on Monday afternoon, and you'll see who's going to be inducted
So
this
just
year.
in case anybody's wondering, like during Bronx Week, right? There's this week-long festivity, and then they conclude with this Bronx Walk of Fame inductee parade, but they're also inducted into the Bronx Walk of Fame, which is on the Grand Concourse.
Exactly.
And it's fellow Bronxites who have moved on to, I guess, or have accomplished lots in their career.
We've got a couple of, Colin Powell is on our Bronx Walk of Fame. We've got Mary Higgins Clark, the author, is on our Bronx Walk of Fame. Judy Reyes, the actress, is on our Bronx Walk of Fame. So these are people. Neil deGrasse Tyson. He's on our Bronx Walk of Fame. He is, proud Bronx boy. So we have
quite a few.
We got a lot of people. We've got a lot of people on the Bronx Walk of Fame, and so each year we induct new inductees to the Walk of Fame, so that we can all be proud of what they've done, and they're also proud of being Bronxites.
I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing that you make sure that everybody is acknowledged and they're documented, right? Because their name is actually on the Grand Concourse.
Yes, forever. It's on the Grand Concourse forever. So that's
if we were to name all the names, we would be here forever.
Yeah.
I mean, just when you started naming, I was like, we have Bobby Sanabria. We have Jelly Bean, John Jelly Bean Benitez, who was just here.
Good.
He was here on air, and we actually we have Chaz Palminteri.
That's right.
Rita Moreno. Oh my goodness!
Very good. You're good.
Well, I've been
Should we switch?
Well, I've attended a lot of the Bronx Ball events, and actually the Bronx Ball, which is another grand event at Orchard Beach.
At Orchard Beach, we convert Orchard Beach into this grand ballroom, and it's a it's a black tie, star-studded event. But it starts next week with a lot of events throughout the borough. So we've got a hip-hop event on Saturday. We've got a centenarian luncheon where the borough president will celebrate those who are either turning 100 or have turned 100. And this is the great year to do that because it is the centennial celebration of the Bronx, when the Bronx became a county of New York in 1914. So we're all year we're celebrating the centennial. And so the Bronx theme is basically Bronx 100.
Yes.
So we're celebrating that. We've got a great Bronx urban food and farm tour also next Saturday, a trolley tour, which will take you to some of the community gardens, teach you how to eat healthier, and even teach you how to grow your own garden. And we've got, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, gosh, we've got a whole slew of events. When you go onto ilovethebronx.com, you'll see the calendar of events on there.
Well, thank you for taking the time to actually give us a little taste, because that's all you're doing, teasing us.
Well,
could you give us information about the inductees?
No, not yet, not yet. Well, don't worry. Next week. I'll come back next week.
Okay.
So, but the other thing is that Sunday, May 18th, when it all culminates, we have a huge parade where everybody can come out and enjoy. And if anybody wants to march in the parade, please go to ilovethebronx.com and download the parade application. And then we have not just a parade, we have a food festival, food and arts festival
on Mosholu
Parkway, a health pavilion where Montefiore has put together this health pavilion. You could get screening and all that sort of great thing. And then we also have a concert. And so we have our three artists, this I can tell you, is Rakim, Tony Vega, and Elle Varner. So they're going to be taking the stage at the concert on May 18th, and that's going to be a fun event.
Yes.
Let's all just pray for sun.
Yes. Because it happens whether it's sunny or not, right?
It's rain or shine. It's going to happen. It's just a matter of whether you're going to get wet or you need, the sunscreen. So
right.
But plan accordingly is what I say.
So you're revving up, right?
We're revving up.
Because you're like, oh, I'm tired. I'm like, we've got a couple more weeks.
I do that just a kid to let people know we're working hard. But
you're doing such a wonderful job, and we're so happy to have you.
I took this job 2 years ago, and the first show I came to was here. And it's the first time I appeared on TV in this capacity.
This is so awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Yes, I love it. I love that it's here, and I love that you continue to come back and visit us here on Open Friday to share the latest news.
Of course, anytime.
All right. And once again, I'm going to assume that the best suggestion to give to our viewers is to really go to ilovethebronx.com, because there's so much going on, and there's so many things you can choose from that she just really gave us a little taste. That's all she did.
The other thing is follow us on Facebook, because every once in a while, if something new comes up that's not on the calendar because it's come up, we're going to put it on our Bronx Tourism Facebook or Bronx Week Facebook. Also, Twitter, Bronx Tourism, and Bronx Week. So, either one of those would work. And so we'll be posting any of the latest that's going on that may not have made it to the website yet.
Got it. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Olga Luz Tirado, everybody.
Yeah, my buddy.
Woo, yes. Yes, we are rocking it.
That's right.
And power to the Latinas, para que lo sepa. Once again, for Bronx Week 2014, it's actually going to take place from May 8th through May 18th, featuring community events and festivities throughout the Bronx. And for more information, make sure you go to ilovethebronx.com and visit them on Facebook and Twitter. All right, so we do have to take a quick break, but stay tuned, because when we return, we'll discuss the misconceptions of ethnic entrepreneurship. So don't move from your seats.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Brush, brushy, brush, brushy, brush, brush, brush. Every day and every night. Brush, brushy, brush, 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 brush. Know what you're doing, son. Here's what you gotta do. You can have your toothbrush so that you can brushy brush your teeth. Tooth jobs are almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Help your teeth stay healthy. Brushy brush with a grown-up every day.
Hello, welcome back to Open, the CUNY Journalism School chapter of the National Association of Hispanic Journalists, and the Toe Knight Center presented the Ethnic Entrepreneurship and Starting Up Strong, a discussion that covered the misconceptions of ethnic entrepreneurship and what it takes to launch a viable and sustainable media enterprise with a small team or even by yourself. Our next guest is here to give us an inside look of the panel discussions and how you, our viewer, can learn more about these wonderful tools. Please welcome Christopher Dell. Hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So, you are quite the entrepreneur yourself. Right? So let's share a little bit about your journey from Florida to New York and how you landed in the position that you're in.
Oh, sure. Well, I was a sports reporter in Florida for about 10 years for the Sarasota Herald Tribune. I started off at age 15 covering Little League baseball, high school sports, eventually moved on to college, pro sports. I came up to New York City to get my master's degree in journalism at the CUNY Graduate School of Journalism. After I graduated in December, I joined the Talent Night Fellowship Program, which is an entrepreneurial program where people come in with their own media startup ideas. So I'm building a social sports app. It's called Go Baller.
Nice.
Sports fans can track their favorite players and teams across different social networks. So we bring the best content across these networks and put it in one stream for you, personalized.
That's nice.
So
Okay.
yeah.
Innovative. Well, that's the world we're going into, right? And so I just wanted to give everybody a little background because you actually are taking and you're merging it with the next generation, but yet using the concept of understanding that the research is also important. So
Sure.
continue.
Absolutely. I think that there's so much great content on all these social media websites, and I think being able to bring that all together, users like us or, everyday readers of the news don't have the time to, go to 100 different websites or 20 different social media platforms to get all their content. So you see a lot of great businesses coming up that curate stuff created by other publications, put it in one place, kind of providing a service to the user, a service to the reader. That's what I hope to do with sports fans for Go Baller. At CUNY, I also founded the National Association of Hispanic Journalists chapter. Right. So we've been very active this past year in, hosting events, bringing in speakers. We hosted the Ethnic Entrepreneurship panel.
Which, please share a little bit about what the topics were that you tapped into, because just the concept, the title alone makes you kind of go, is this a numbers thing or is it an actual department within the actual media? What exactly did you guys tap into?
Sure. Well, the basic thing is that, we're looking to have an entrepreneurship panel for journalists and media innovators.
Okay.
And we were doing some research on that, and we found out that there's a pretty staggering stat that, you see hundreds of $1 million going into all these startups in Silicon Valley and across the country. But one thing is that less than 1% of these startups are actually founded by Latinos. So that's crazy with all the money out there that, people aren't taking recognition of Latinos and other minority founders of startups and really giving them the capital to be able to start their own businesses. So we see that as a problem, and we see that as a challenge that we can overcome by spreading awareness, showing people from our backgrounds that, you can start up your own business, whether it's a website, a media publication. You have the tools to be able to make your own apps. You don't need to hire developers and designers, pay thousands of dollars to be able to create these kind of things. There's so many great tools out there that we can use. So kind of, informing our audience about those tools, telling them the challenges that other founders have overcome. We had the founder of Latin Trends magazine, Juan Guillen there, Hong Q. He's a member of NAHJ, and he's also the CTO of Fusion Media as they go from TV to starting a digital website. So we want to bring people in who have gone through the process themselves and really try to, get everyone to empower them and really, you don't have to just, write for the media or create the media. You can be your own media in a sense.
So what was the primary topic at hand, right? Because we're talking about a startup here. And so the first thing that popped into my head is like, did you guys tap into the abilities of just working from home and actually having a team that works from their home and somehow still working as a company? Are those some of the topics? Or did you specifically discuss like apps and just social media and everything related to web? What exactly is the actual message within the panel that was tapped into?
Sure. I think the great thing is that we kind of hit on almost all the topics you just mentioned.
Okay.
Whether you're building a news app, whether you're building a blog or a website or a different type of startup company, how do you get in front of investors? How do you pitch the right way? How do you target your audience? How do you go from having a great idea to letting people know about it and then getting people interested, getting people addicted to your product?
Okay, so you were talking packaging and pitching and wow, that's
absolutely.
Cool. That's
so
cool.
as journalists, we all make pitches with our stories to editors, but then you go from pitching your own business idea to trying to get money for that. So I think that whether it's someone who's still working by themselves. You know, people, we have Mariana Marcaletti. She's an NHJ member with me. She runs LatinAmericanRadar.com. She does it by herself, but she has a network of international freelancers from Argentina, from Brazil, different Latin American countries that all write for her for free. She's been able to sell the idea that she covers a region that's kind of been untapped. So, you know, they're willing to write for her, to contribute content. So you finding creative ways to be able to get people to work for you, work with you, to kind of launch the business and get it off the ground.
You know, just listening to you makes me feel like, oh yeah, let's do it. We can all do it. We can do it,
right.
And it's true. It can be done, especially with the modern day and age technology that we have.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you designed an app. Are you trained in that department of designing apps?
No, not at all.
You see?
Yeah. So I got into the Town Night program, and I had this idea of starting a sports app. Basically, through networking, through meeting people, through NAHJ and other things, I've been able to, get in front of programmers and designers, learn from them, get their feedback, learn that I actually could build a prototype of my own of what I want to do, just using a simple tool like called Shout'em, where you can build your own apps. There's lots of other tools out there to do that, and then taking that to a programmer and having him do the final version. So, I was able to start the process on my own and get to a point where I can actually put something in someone's hands, say, this is what I want to do, and they're able to, help me create that vision.
That's hot. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations on that.
So we're actually, we just applied to the Manos Accelerator. Manos is the first Latino-based startup accelerator in the country. It's based out in Silicon Valley and San Jose, and they're focused exclusively on bringing startup companies who have Latino founders and Latino teams. We just applied for that. We're looking to get into another accelerator program. They would invest in our company and provide us mentorship and feedback, really help us go from an idea and a concept to an actual business. So that's the next step for Go Baller.
Nice. Well, congratulations on Go Baller, and thank you for being here with us. Michael, I think just your words alone was enough to empower everyone and to actually give everybody a sense of what kind of panel discussions you're actually holding. It's very exciting, and congratulations.
Great. Thank you. And we're actually holding one more panel. It's going to be at the New York Times next month. It's going to be a series of ethnic entrepreneurship panels. We hope to have some of the same panelists and partner with ONA, the Online News Association, as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. All right. Once again, for more information on Michael Dell, you can actually go to, I gotta find, Chris, sorry, I'm sorry. It threw me off because it didn't have your information there. My apologies. Chris, all right, so I guess we have your Facebook. That's what we have. Is that good? Yeah, I just want to make sure that people can find your information.
You can go to my
Facebook.
Twitter.
Oh, all right. Well,
find me on Twitter at Mad Journalist. It's MADD Journalist.
So it's Mad Journalist. Oh, man, we didn't even get to talk about your monikers. We'll save that for another time. And also, he's on Facebook at NAHJNYC. NAHJNYC. Thank you again, Chris. Sorry about that. And for more information, actually, we have to take a quick break. And coming up next, we're going to find out about an author's journey on how she became Latina. Yeah, stay tuned. You don't want to miss that. Oh, actually, we'd like to let you know that the 6th annual Bronx Heroes Comic Con is taking place on Saturday, May 3rd. And that's actually happening from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Bronx Library Center. Once again, the Bronx Heroes Comic Con from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Bronx Library, May 3rd, 2014. So make sure you go check that out. We have to take a quick break, guys. We'll see you when we return. We're going to find out what it is to discover being Latina. Don't go anywhere.
Yes, I am. Give it to him hard. No.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Why you stab me with it? No.
They want to help,
Ow.
but don't know how. Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Don't look at me. Your hair's a bit frizzy today. Oh, you should pick that up. Oh, you're such a dork. Loser. Here, let me help you with that. Oops.
Every day, kids witness bullying.
Oh, look. Your crush is looking at you. Or you.
They want to help, but don't know how.
See, no one here's gonna help you, because no one
Teach your kids how to be more than a bystander. Visit stopbullying.gov.
Mom, can we get some ice cream? Please, Mom, please.
No, we're having dinner soon.
Please.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
Barry, time is running out. According to my calculations, 1 in 5 kids in America struggles with hunger. How can so many children face hunger when there's more than enough food to feed them all? You're right, Barry. We can help solve hunger by teaming up with Feeding America to get food to hungry kids in communities across the country.
Help Flint and the Feeding America network of food banks get food to the people who need it in your community. Find your local Feeding America food bank at feedingamerica.org/hunger.
Together, we're Feeding America.
Hello, and welcome back to Open. You know, we're always reminding you to get social with us. Don't forget to tweet us at BronxNet TV and also tweet me at Rena Valentine. So, people often say that someone without the knowledge of their past, history, origin, and culture is like a tree without its roots. Some may say that finding those roots is impossible, but is it really? Well, our next guest has experienced that search, not only of finding her roots and origin, but also herself, inspiring many through her story by sharing with the world how she became Latina. Please welcome to the show award-winning journalist, cultural activist, author, and filmmaker, Raquel Cepeda.
Thank you for having me, Rena. And I'm really excited about being on BronxNet because, you know, the more gentrified New York becomes, the more important public access television is for us to be able to keep up with the pulse of really what's going on in the hood and in our communities.
I appreciate that.
So I'm so excited about being on here. I just love public access television.
Well, thank you for saying that, and thank you for being here with us. Why, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. You know, I know you were sitting on the sidelines watching us because we're live, people. And I don't know if people really get what that means. It's like live means that we shoot live. There's no take two. It is what it is, and it's got to be on the first time out. And none of this is really rehearsed.
Yes.
We just kind of like vibe off of each other. I mean, we know
It's
about
just
each
so
other.
cool, right?
Yeah.
We could just vibe, and people, I think, feel that. Right?
I
On the
hope.
screen, yeah.
I hope. I know when
Unless
you
the
hear
vibe is negative, then
right?
people can.
Well, we don't even put that out
exactly.
there. Yeah. But let's talk about Bird of Paradise.
Yeah, of
You know
course.
what? Let's just share with everybody a little bit of your background because you have a very interesting background. Well, you know, I only listen. She's this, she's that, she's an author, a journalist, but you are all of these things, and you do them very well. And you know, just for the sake of people understanding the diversity within your skills, not just within your cultural background,
Right.
I just thought we could share a little bit about like people you've worked with and what you've done.
Well, I started basically, I'm born in Harlem. Unfortunately, I'm not born in the Bronx, or I would have been like dying to get on the Bronx Hall of Fame. But I was born in Harlem, then I was raised in Dominican Republic and in New York City, and I came to live with my dad in 1981. And there hip hop culture basically was a thing that I used, the cultural tool that I used to express myself. And I've always wanted to work within the community. My first dream was to be like a ghostwriter for Rakim. And, you know, when that didn't happen, I was like, well, maybe I should like become a poet or do something. And I got down with the whole poetry scene in the mid-90s, not to date myself. And at the same time, I started writing, you know, I was a journalist. I started interviewing artists and rappers and people that meant a lot to me. So from there, you know, I started becoming, you know, like a long-form journalist, and I became an editor, and I contributed to a lot of different magazines, and I started working for Russell Simmons as the editor-in-chief of his now defunct magazine, One World. And that was a real joy because I can take the things that are important to me, being international, and really put them into the magazine. That was extremely cool. And then from there, I, you know, edited a book about hip-hop journalism and made my first documentary film about hip-hop and diamonds, basically how American hip-hop, how our culture is so obsessed with all that is material and diamonds at the time, and how that intersected into itself into the war in Sierra Leone. So I brought 3 rappers to Sierra Leone, West Africa, to see firsthand the effects of what they said here, of what they say here in America, and how they portray themselves.
I'm just sitting here listening to you in fascination because it's not you just following stories. There's a depth to why you're following these stories, which actually lead up to this book, right?
It's mission work.
Right.
It's the stuff that I feel that fulfills me, in that, you know, once we all have to go at some point. And I want somebody to know that I existed and that I had an opinion, and I want somebody in the next generation to either build upon it or destroy it, but do something.
Right. You know? I think we all do. I think everybody in their existence wants to be remembered, right? I remember attending a seminar one day, and they said the richest place in the world is the cemetery because that's where all the stories are.
Wow.
I know, that's really
That's so
profound.
profound.
Yeah, that's really profound, but it's something that stayed with me because it made me realize that, you know what, it's true. We just all want to be remembered.
Right.
Right? And so being remembered also entails knowing who you are, which leads us to Bird of Paradise, how I became Latina.
Right.
Now, how does one become Latina?
Well, I've always wondered where my people came from before they were from the Dominican Republic. How did I get here? Why, when I look at society and I look at what's going on around me, why is there so much antagonism against the Latino American population? Why are we so divisive with each other sometimes? Why are the vestiges of colonialism, which I think is a worse than racism, ageism, anything, the vestiges of it, I see it within our community and how we express ourselves and how, we always want to straighten our hair and do this and do that. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but how, for the wrong reasons.
Right.
I've always wondered all these things. So when I came back to live with my dad in 1981, I remember my father being very anti-Dominican and not wanting to really accept his culture. And then I always thought of the Dominican Republic with love, right? And it's part of my heritage. So I became kind of obsessed with, well, why is it that we want to fit so badly into mainstream? And what does it really mean to be Latino? So that book, the first memoir by a Dominican American author in popular culture, is two parts. The first part is Bird of Paradise. I grew up in a neighborhood called Paraíso in Santo Domingo.
Which means paradise in English.
Which means paradise in English. And Bird is a nod to Dr. Maya Angelou. I know why caged birds sing. And it'll make sense once you read it. And then the second part is an ancestral DNA journey I embarked on, which basically takes an unlikely route to discovering what it means to be Latino. And what I discovered is that to be American is to be Latino because we are the genetic circumstance of Columbus being discovered in the Caribbean.
Wow, that's ancestral DNA. How far does... Okay, so what do you learn going through investigating through ancestral DNA?
Well,
I mean, that sounds really like digging, like you're digging deep.
You're digging, but, I remember trying to... With women, you only get your one side because, your mother, you only inherit your mitochondrial DNA. Men get their mother's and their Y DNA. So I had to actually track down people that I didn't even know I was related to. I found one person, a cousin on Facebook, and asked them to swab. And by then, in doing that, I waited for the results and the analysis, and I started building this tree. So while you don't get all of the answers, you really get a nice, you get a lot of revelations. And for me, it was it was a spiritual journey, and it also affirmed a lot of things that I believed in growing up that the West kind of shies away from. Like, for example, the idea of having spiritual guides and of having your ancestors walk with you. And, when you're walking in the Bronx, you're walking in Manhattan, and people are like, "Tu tienes un indio contigo," that kind of, is there something to that?
Right.
So when I embarked on that adventure, I realized that there was, and that, I feel like I have family all over the world, and that I feel like we Latinos are American. We're the first Americans. We're the first Americans because the first colony, the first European colony in the Americas was in Santo Domingo.
That's beautiful. Yeah. It's beautiful because I always said we are the original rainbow people. The rest of the world's catching up to us now.
Exactly.
Really, I mean, they call it what do they call it? Gentrification, but
miscegenation, but in a positive way because it is what it is, and that's why I think we can do so many things and why we can float into so many spaces, and that's why I'm against those boxes of having to identify. If I only identified as Afro-Latina, then I would be ignoring the indigenous side and even the sides that I may not like that exist within me. So I believe in being balanced. And in that, we cannot be living in these little check boxes.
Wow, this is wonderful. This sounds like a wonderful book. I'm really looking forward to reading it. I could just sit here and listen to you all day because, I mean, we do know the basics of Latinos. We're born with European, African, and indigenous blood. So it's kind of like three. That is the world. And Asian too. And Asian
yes,
too.
And Arabic. And, people talk about crypto Jews. There were also people that were pretending to be Christian that were Arabic, because a lot of our ancestors come from the south of Spain. And, so you find, people are finding that they have Jewish ancestry, all kind of really different, interesting things. And the one thing I can say about that, without giving it away, is what I didn't find was a link to Spain.
Interesting.
Exactly.
Interesting. That's really interesting, considering our secondary language. Well, here in New York, where it's Spanish. I mean, in the Caribbean, well, some of the ones that are colonized by Spain are Spanish,
But
and
when
they're
I-
not connected. That's really interesting.
Well, it made sense because when I basically, you learn in parochial schools and throughout America, and for me, I can only talk about New York City, is really to not love yourself. When you go to school, the missionaries that came to the New World came as God-fearing people to save the savages and the primitives and all. And I really learned that quite the opposite is true, and that the savagery was happening on another end. And I became very proud of where I came from, and I also understood that the Dominican Republic and the Caribbean was like New Orleans before New Orleans, hundreds of years before New Orleans. So it makes sense that, we look like the way we do, and we have children that look like the mailman's children, because you
Right,
never
the
know, right?
mailman's children.
Everybody is like, the milkman's children, right? Because we have, it's a genetic crapshoot.
Right.
And that makes us so international, and it makes us so, it makes us be able to move and to navigate, not only in our communities, but throughout the world. So it's an empowering feeling to find out and know and make peace with where you come from.
Beautiful. So where can people get the book and empower themselves?
At a bookstore, anywhere where books are sold, online. It's always cheaper online, and the soft cover just came out a couple of months
February,
ago.
right? It just came out in February.
In February.
I mean, this was released last year, and then you just got the soft cover February, right?
February, yes. And it's Atrio Simon & Schuster, and it makes me feel really good when it finds its way onto the lap of a new reader, because the love that I get back is really, really priceless. It tells me that I'm walking in the right direction.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Raquel Cepeda, I know, we could just be here all over. They're repping me hard. They're like, come on, ladies, come on, wrap it up already.
I understand.
And I'm like, no, I don't want to, but
good things must come to an
I
end.
know.
Yeah.
Well, we're just going to have you back on. That's what we're going to have
My
to
pleasure.
do.
It'd be
Oh,
an
that
honor.
was so wonderful and so enlightening. Thank you for educating us in the way that you did. That was well taken, and I hope you guys got it as well. So once again, for more information on Raquel Cepeda, you can visit her. You can visit her on her website, which I believe is the Jolly Rancher.
Jolly Rancher, or Raquel Cepeda on Twitter.
Okay, or Raquel Cepeda on Twitter. Everybody's on Twitter. That's right.
Yeah.
So it's at Raquel Cepeda.
Yes.
And we do have to take a break, but we'll be back with our exclusive sports roundup with Bobby C. Don't go anywhere.
For those dealing with the struggles of caring for a loved one, we hear you. Visit aarp.org/caregiving for advice and support.
A single ember that escapes from a wildfire can travel more than a mile. You can't control where that ember will land, only what happens when it does. Get Fire Adapted now at fireadapted.org.
I already knew that I was going to go to college, from a young age. I definitely want to major in political science. After that, I'm going to get my law degree. Then I'm going to come back to Detroit, boost the economy, become the mayor or something, try to make the situation better for other people. I feel like I owe it to the city. I'm determined. It's going to happen. My name is Justin, and I am your dividend.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Live with a human for a while, and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she does strange tricks for no treats. But the one thing I will never, for the life of me, know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
The message was loud and clear, and the Rangers answered the call in Game 7.
We got the momentum. Our fans were loud. We got our legs moving. We had a lot of offensive zone time in their end, and finally capitalize on a couple chances.
Well, even though it's a Game 7 and there's lots on the line, we did a lot of good things in this series and just had to continue them and execute them in one game, and I think we did that. Especially at home, you get the crowd into it. First period, there was not much going on, but thought we were in their end a lot. And then to get the first one and then roll and get Mace played great, and we could have had 4 or 5, but we kept them in there. And, but yeah, getting the first one is definitely important.
We know what our strengths and weaknesses are as a team. It shouldn't matter who we're playing as much at this point in the year. It's about how you're playing as a team. Obviously there'll be talk of matchups here and there, but there's going to be points when you're playing against, everybody on the team at one point. So you want to be in sync with the guys you're out there with. You want to be in the right frame of mind, intense-wise, and just come ready to play every game because every game could be the difference.
The Game 7 nail-biter captured the essence of the back-and-forth first-round series between the Rangers and Flyers. New York skated to a 4-2 win on Sunday to take a 3-2 series lead back to Philadelphia Tuesday night, but couldn't topple their rivals on their home ice, falling to the Flyers 5-2. We turn back the clock now for another look inside the locker room following the Game 5 win.
The big thing in the playoffs when something happened, you just need to respond the right way and then stay focused on the right things. And then we did every time tonight when we needed to. So big win for us.
I just said the same thing. It's got to be stick to the game plan that we have in front of us that we've wanted to execute. Execution and will. It's going to come down to that. And if we do that, we'll give ourselves a chance to win.
Despite the Game 6 loss on Tuesday night, the Rangers rallied at home and pulled the 2-1 Game 7 victory on Wednesday night. Only 48 hours after finishing off the Flyers, the Rangers are right back to business tonight against another longtime rival. The Broadway Blue Shirts will open the second-round series in Pittsburgh at Consol Energy Center and marks the 5th all-time meeting in the postseason between the two clubs and the first since the Pens beat the Rangers in 5 games during the 2008 Eastern Conference semifinals. The Penguins have won all 4 prior series, with the Rangers having won only 4 of 20 postseason games between the two. Of course, New York is looking for better results. This time around, the players in the locker room Wednesday night appear fueled by the 7-game series and ready for Pittsburgh and its power play. Puck drops at 7 tonight and 7:30 Sunday night for Game 2 in Pittsburgh. We shift our focus to the NBA playoffs, where there is only one team still standing in New York, albeit barely after 2 rough games. The Brooklyn Nets fell 87-79 to Toronto on Sunday night in Game 4 of its first-round series with the Raptors. With the series tied at 2-2, the Nets were edged 115-113 Wednesday night at the Air Canada Center in Toronto. We caught up with the Nets following their loss Sunday night.
It's very frustrating because, first and foremost, we shouldn't be down 17 on our home floor. So, that was mind-boggling. But we managed to get back in the game. We just didn't come up with a big play down the stretch.
We didn't score. We didn't score a bucket in the last, 4 minutes of the fourth. 87 points from our opponents is usually enough to win the game, but when we can't score, we didn't execute. We turned the ball over. It's just tough to win.
Brooklyn will try and stave off elimination tonight at home at the Barclays Center. The Nets will tip against the Raptors at 7 p.m. in Game 6. All fans in attendance tonight will receive a commemorative Game 6 T-shirt. If the Nets can pull it out, Game 7 is slated for Sunday back in Toronto. The second-to-last calendar day in April welcomed back Robinson Cano to the Bronx. As the Seattle Mariners made their way for a 3-game series, Cano shook off the Boo Birds and helped the Seattle Mariners earn a 6-3 win Tuesday night before the Rains postponed Wednesday's action. That game will be made up in June. May 1st brought more of the same from Cano and the M's, who also captured Thursday night's matchup 4-2 to walk away from the BX with a mini 2-game sweep. Bronx Bombers will look to get back to their winning ways this weekend in the Bronx when they welcome rival Tampa for a 3-game series. Starting tonight, a bright spot for the Yanks on Thursday night was Jacoby Ellsbury's first homer in pinstripes. Log on to Yankees.com to grab yourself some tickets for this weekend's series with the Bombers' AL East rivals. Across town, the Mets, playing in Colorado, also suffered a loss on Thursday night, falling 7-4 to the Rockies in the Mile High. The Amazons have 3 more games against the Rockies in Colorado before traveling to Miami Monday to start a 3-game series with the Marlins. The Mets will be back home next weekend before the a 4-game Subway Series with the Yanks in 2 weeks. The Mets and Yankees are sporting identical 15-12 records as we move into May. Good start to the baseball season for both the Yankees and Mets. Time for some quick hitters from around the world of sports. Many of the sports headlines this week centered around LA Clippers owner Donald Sterling, the longest tenured owner in the league, whose racist comments on a recording were made public and led to a lifetime ban from the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver. Reports are now saying that Sterling, who is expected to be ousted by other owners and forced to sell the Clippers, has cancer. Another report says Sterling, who is 80 years old, may try and use his divorce to keep from selling the Clippers, who are locked in a thrilling 7-game first-round playoff with Golden State. In other NBA news, former Knicks coach Mike D'Antoni, who reportedly was not seeing eye to eye with star Kobe Bryant, has resigned in Los Angeles, stepping down as Lakers head coach. Chicago head coach Tom Thibodeau, another former Knicks assistant, could be heading to L.A. to replace D'Antoni. The Bulls may be without their head coach, but reports indicate that the courting of free agent Carmelo Anthony is on its way. The Bulls are targeting the Knicks star for their lineup. Phil Jackson will meet with Steve Kerr soon, and reports say that Jackson is bouncing the idea of Kerr off of Anthony in an effort to retain Melo's services in New York. In Brooklyn, Paul Pierce says the Nets will see the Raptors Sunday, predicting a Game 6 win tonight. As for his head coach, Jason Kidd, Brooklyn skipper, called out the refs and the officiating in the series, saying Thursday during a press conference that he'd like to see more calls, especially foul calls, in the direction of Brooklyn. The Guinness Book of World Records and the New York Yankees honored our longtime friend, Hall of Fame broadcaster Bob Wolf. Wolf is now not only the longest-running sportscaster, he's also the longest-running broadcaster, 75 years, and still going strong in the business. Congrats to 93-year-old Bob Wolf. Yankee great Yogi Berra has put his Jersey home on the market for $880,000. You can buy it, folks. Hard to believe, but the NFL draft is upon us next Thursday night at Radio City. Our Bronx Net cameras will be rolling as the draft once again goes prime time. Closer to home, the Giants are saying that Eli Manning will miss all of spring work. Meanwhile, the G-men exercised an option on cornerback Prince Amukamara. Those are the headlines. We hit the C-list for a quick note on an anniversary worth mentioning. Recently, I spent some time on the show waxing poetic about Derek Jeter and his 20 years here in the Bronx. This, of course, is his final season. This year also marks the big 2-0 for our TV station, BronxNet. And thankfully, we're still going strong after 20 years. I'd like to think, like Derek Jeter, we've had our fair share of inspiring moments. Especially when it comes to sports coverage, our BronxNet cameras have captured the World Series, the Super Bowl, the NBA Finals, and most importantly, the stories that matter most to you and your communities, like features on Bronx-born star Willie Colon, who now pulls on the pads and uniform of the New York Jets every Sunday and will be honored soon by the Bronx Walk of Fame. From coverage of local high schools to the Yankees, we'd like to thank you for making the first 20 years as special can be. And in true Bronx fashion, I'll leave you with a BX this morning and a request. Share your favorite Bronx sports stories with us on Facebook and Twitter. Here's to another 20 years. That's your sports. I'm Bobby C. Stay with us. More Open coming right back after this.
So you heard of the Chewbacca fish?
Yeah.
Chewbacca who? Well, you heard of the Chewbacca fish, haven't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And just so the people at home know, describe it real quick for us.
Describe what?
A fish that flies out of the water almost like a rocket. It goes like 12 feet in the air. And then what happens is it comes back down before it hits the water. It like flies into people's neck and like starts biting you in the neck and in the face.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If it's out there, I'm going to catch it on camera because I've been out here with my camera for years.
You know how the Chewbacca fish works? What happens is it shoots like rockets out of the water like 5 feet in the air. And then as it jumps. And then what happens like 5 feet in the air, comes down, right before it hits the water, it does a one of these moves and flies into your neck and starts like biting you and stuff.
Nah. They don't have the fish like that out here, do they?
Yeah, it's the Chewbacca fish. That's what
they have it out here in the Bronx?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then what happens is right before it comes and hits the water.
Yeah, he tried to hit somebody.
Exactly.
Llegaron los caballos. ¡Huépame! Mira, yo te vi con ese teléfono.
will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, singing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time.
Hello and welcome back to Open. It's time to get ready, get up and dance. That's right. It's now time for our Open Artist Spotlight.
The Open Artist Spotlight is made possible in part with public funds from the Bronx Council on the Arts through the New York State Council on the Arts Decentralization Program.
As many have said, music is the language of the soul, and what better way of expressing ourselves than through the beauty of dance. Our next guests are a flash mob group, and, well, they've done surprise performances in over a dozen festivals in the tri-state area. And here to bring it on, we welcome to our open stage the Bronx Rain Dancers! Get the little girl, go on. She's just...
I know you're gonna dig this.
Rain Dances, everyone. The Bronx Rain Dance dancers. Okay, so let's have a conversation with Annette. Annette is actually the director, right? Annette, please welcome Annette. She wasn't dancing. However, let's just share with everyone what the actual concept of flash mobbing is, right? Is it flash mobbing or no? It's just a flash mob.
Yes, it's a flash mob. Is where you go somewhere and then they're not expecting you to be there and you just take over and start dancing. And you make everybody move out of the space and break out dancing.
Okay, so that's why everybody's dressed regular, right?
Yes,
I mean, well, you're regular people, but the idea is that you're at an event. I don't know if anybody's seen this on television, right? Because they actually had some events.
Yes.
Who was it? Howie Mandel. He had some show, right? That he would actually put
did.
flash mob scenes together. And so you're at this event, and then you have all these regular-looking people standing around you, and then their song comes on, and then just out of nowhere,
we start dancing, and we take over
in step,
the event.
though. In step.
Yeah, it's all been choreographed by Gloria Rodriguez here. She helps me out with the dancing part. But the group is entailed of ages 6 to 100. And
6 to 100 as an age?
Ages 6
oh my goodness,
to 100. I haven't got one yet, but yeah.
Okay, but you're saying like the elders.
It's catered to anybody, anyone, and special needs too. The group is bigger than this. Just these are the ones that were able to come. This was a vision between Catherine Fonseca, the legendary Catherine Fonseca, and myself. And these they're called rain dancers, REIGN, because they've either reigned at they've been a pageant or they're a queen, a prince, a princess, or they're pageant moms,
right?
So that's why they're called the rain dancers. At our first performance, we got rained on too.
Yes. But there you go. You're officially the rain dancers.
Yes. But
this is a great concept. So how many of you are there all together? You said not everybody's here.
There's about 40.
There's about 40?
Yeah, there's about 40 seniors. When I say seniors, I mean the old, they've been with us since 2012, and newbies that I call newbies that they just started with us. But it's open to anyone, like I said, ages 6 to 100. And all types.
That's awesome. So, okay, so how do you choose your festivals, and when you go, right, is it announced that you're going to, no, obviously, then it wouldn't be surprised, right, because I was going to say, you guys are going to be at the Fair at the Square, right? Are we supposed to announce that? We're not supposed to announce that? Like, I'm questioning, I'm like, should we talk about it or should we not? Because
that's a catch-32.
Catch-32, I never heard of that. I heard catch-22. What's a catch-32?
That's a new one for me.
Oh, look at that. She's making them up as we go along.
It's supposed to be a surprise. So when they put the flyers up, they just put rain dancers, but they don't know if it's a regular group that's coming to perform. But at the Bronx Puerto Rican Day Parade, one time there was a band playing. Wanted to say this real quick, and we interrupted the band and broke out dancing.
Wow.
So, yes, that was a big highlight. We have a wedding coming up. The group has a wedding coming up that they're gonna also flash mob and
you're going to be at the Fair at the Square, which is happening Saturday, May 10th, and that starts at 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. However, they're going to be there, but I can't announce what time they're going to be there. How's that?
That sounds good.
I figured it out.
That's a good one. But I want to thank you for having us here. This is like a really big highlight, especially for the newbies and the seniors to be able to be at Reina's Open. It's awesome.
It's our pleasure to have you. And I think the fact that you do have all these different age brackets together is a lovely sight. It's lovely to see everybody dancing together in unison like that. And you keep it simple enough that the little ones can follow and the elders.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't because sometimes people don't see that are dancers. They'll see these simple things, and we have to modify it for all ages and all types of children.
All right, well, thank you for being here with us. Thank you, lovely dancers.
Thank you for having us
look
here.
forward to the next surprise.
Yes.
All right. Once again, for more on the Bronx Rain Dancers, like them on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Bronx Rain Dancers. And, of course, you can check them out at the Fair at the Square Festival, Saturday, May 10th. We can't tell you what time, though. But the festival's going on throughout the day, so just be there all day. And that is our show today. Thanks to all of our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. Be sure to check out the Recablecast tonight and throughout the weekend here on BronxNet and 24 hours a day at BronxNet.org. Also, tune in on Monday to check out the Monday edition with Bob Lee. Once again, I'm Rina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Mwah. Adios, everybody. Happy road if you will.